Hey friends, thanks for clicking on this video and stopping into my channel, Heidi's Ensemble DIY. In today's episode, I'm sharing Dollar Tree projects that are easy to follow along, that have a high-end finished look, and that are so much fun to make. Alright, now let's get crafting. For this project, we're going to go with a more Krylon high-end style. We're going to take one of these 11 by 14 frames, 2 of these tiles. I painted the tiles both white, and now we're going to take apart that frame. Go ahead and remove the glass. I made this part a little bit brighter so you all can see that I'm painting it a chestnut brown, that black frame. Once that was dry, I set it to the side and I started working on the backer of the frame. Go ahead and cut down your tiles to fit the size of that backer. And then once you've got them cut to size, go ahead and use some hot glue. When you cut apart the sides of these tiles, the adhesive strip on the back will come off because it's only bound around the sides of that square. But that's perfectly fine because you just add some hot glue and it sticks on there beautifully. Now I'm going to come in with a very beautiful tan, kind of beige color, and we're going to bring forth that texture. This technique I know is super popular here on YouTube, but we're going to turn this into something even more elevated than just this beautiful raised tin look. So go ahead and add some of that same distressing to your frame and then pop that backing right into the frame and lock it into place. Once you've got that in place, this next part is where it really starts to elevate, and it makes me just think of like Krylon home decor things that you would see in their store. Go ahead and use your hot glue to create a nice thick round rim of some hot glue, and I had my stuff all laid out ready to go so I could just plop that right into the hot glue where it doesn't start to dry or cool down. Go ahead and just create a beautiful wreath with some leaves. I'm now going to come in with some fall foliage, some leaves, some beautiful little wheat sprigs, and then I'm going to add on this gorgeous white sunflower that they have right now at the Dollar Tree. I added in some smaller ones, some more greenery. Basically keep playing with the foliage until you get it to where you love it. Now at this point we're going to add on a ticking stripe bow that I get from the Dollar Tree, and then as well as this wood sign that says blessed. I had so much fun making this. It's so high end and it would look so gorgeous anywhere displayed in your home. This gift is the easiest gift. Head to the Dollar Tree and pick up a couple of candles. They have these miniature green apple and red apple cinnamon. They are such a darling gift to give to all sorts of teachers that you want to have in mind if you're especially on a budget. I'm going to be using some green ribbon for the red candle and some red ribbon from the green candle. Snip off the extra and it's ready to be gifted. This sign is going to be so cost friendly to recreate. We're going to just take one of these long signs from the Dollar Tree and we're going to pop off this fun little arch part that says Happy Holidays. I will keep that for another project later on down the road, but I only want to get to the base of this sign. I'm also going to pop off the ribbons and the staple, and then once I'm done getting all that off, I'm going to go ahead and take some of my putty and I'm going to fill in those holes from the staples. When they punch into these boards, it can cause a little bit of a divot. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill that in and sand it so it's nice and smooth on the same surface, because we are going to be painting this whole thing black. Now you could paint it whatever color you want, but I went with black because I really love black during the fall season. I just think it looks so pretty with all of the fall colors. I don't know, it gives it more of a rich, deep tone. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just what I like. So you can paint any color you want, but after I got it all dry, I went ahead and used my ruler and I sketched on the words, "The Simple Life." After a while, friends, we start to just wear ourselves out, and sometimes it's okay to just have a simple day. And so I just wanted to remind myself and my family that we don't have to run every second. It's okay to slow down. I think the Sabbath day is always my favorite day of the whole week because I just love that time to slow down and to just really focus on the things that calm my spirit. Once it was all dried, I sanded the corners, and then on the back side I flipped it over and took some of that burlap fabric, and then took some of that gingham fabric and covered the back so it has a nice clean finish. And then I took another strip and tied it onto the side of the sign. I'm going to tie it with 2 knots or 2 ties to make a knot, and then I'm going to do a dovetail cut on the ends and tuck in some of this wheat. I just think that this is so cute and how it turned out. Tucking these in here on the side, it really gives it that fall country look. And then I'm going to take this little pumpkin, I'm going to tuck this in here with lots of hot glue so it really stays on there. This has more of a foam feeling, so it adhered really well. I didn't need to stick a skewer stick in it or anything. And then the last is adding on this bow, and it's ready to be displayed as a good reminder in my home. This DIY is very whimsical and easy to recreate for any level of crafter. I'm going to take some of these leftover painter handles after cutting them down from a bunch of other projects, but you could also use some of these large tongue depressor sticks that you can see over to the side here that I'm going to be using for the hat. You could use those too. And I'm going to take my Crop-A-Dile and I'm going to punch out 2 holes on these painter stick handles that I have cut down from, like I said, previous projects. I want to make sure I'm using every single thing in my craft room and trying to maximize my supplies. And now once I've got those 2 holes on the sides and not the one in the middle, I'm going to go ahead and measure out the brim of the hat with these large tongue depressor sticks. I get mine from Walmart. I love these jumbo sticks. I use them all the time because they're really great to work with to get a wood look, and you can cut them with your scissors. So I went ahead and glued 2 of them together to make a thicker brimmed hat, glued it at an angle, and now I'm going to just dry brush on some brown paint for the face of my cute little Scarecrow little decor piece. And then the top is going to be a rusty orange. And then I didn't show this part very well. I'm so sorry, but I just took some raffia and I cut it down to size and made it look like the Scarecrow had a little bit of hat hair coming out on the sides. So you can just see that I kind of glued it on the back side and I gave it a little cut. Not too long, but you know, just cute enough to pop out. And now I'm going to add on the face, a little smile, 2 eyes with the back of my brush. And then I'm going to use the same orange color that I used on the hat. And I'm going to just do a little triangle nose. And then at this point, it could stop here, but I feel like it still needed a little bit something extra. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of these Dollar Tree sunflowers, and I'm going to glue that off to the side. I thought this was a cute little touch to add. And once I had that glued down in place, I went ahead and added the twine to the very top where we punched out those holes originally. Tied those on so I can hang it up on a doorknob or a hook on, you know, the wall somewhere. And now I'm going to, again, just add a little bit more. I'm going to add a bow, and the finishing touch, I felt like it needed a button right in the middle of the bow. So I added a green button, and I love how it turned out. I just think it's so whimsical. This DIY is super simple, and we're going to be using this fall freebie that has these beautiful sunflowers on it. We're going to use an old food can, a sunflower, and then a piece of foam. Start by cutting out the size of the printable that you would like. I'm going to use the smallest one since I'm using a small food can. You can also use these printables in a frame or in any other kind of project that you might want to. Add some E6000 to the corner since we're going to be putting this on a metal can, and then a little bit of hot glue around those edges just to make sure that it bonds quickly. I like to do both because this is going to add a nice bond. Since we're going to be putting it on metal, the hot glue itself would just pop right off. So I'm going to go ahead and rub that down, and while that all locks into place, I'm going to get this piece of foam and go ahead and cut out a piece that is going to be down to the right size to fit into the can. Once I've got that cut out and I know that it fits, I'm going to go ahead and add on some E6000 to the bottom of my foam piece, as well as some hot glue. And then I'm going to just put that right back down in there and make sure it's nice and secure and glued to the bottom of the can. Now we're going to take this can and we are going to make it look really rustic. I'm going to just take some brown paint and I'm going to just tap all along the edges of that printable, and I kind of go back and forth between the pressure of adding a thick amount of paint to a very light dry brush of the paint. This is really going to add that rustic look to it. Then I'm going to lock it all in with my heat gun. The can will heat up, so be careful with touching the can when you're using a heat gun. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush that I used earlier, get off a lot of the paint, and now we're just going to dry brush on around the rest of the edges of that printable. Now it's time to start inserting your sunflower, and I wanted to have a nice long stem like you would see out in the garden. I'm going to add a black and white gingham bow, and then I'm going to just put that right where the leaves meet up on the stem. I thought that would be so darling. I don't know what it is about bows, but they always just make me so happy on projects like this. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue and then put that right on the flower. I think it adds such a pretty feminine touch to it, even though the can is all rusty. And then the last thing I'm going to add on is a little bit more hot glue, add in some of this Spanish moss, and tuck it down into the can. And at this point, it is just such a darling home decor piece that cost almost nothing. A really fun idea for a gift for teachers and even for your students, especially if they're going to college, you make them a survival treat kit. Pick up a whole bunch of different types of treats, some chocolates, some not, have a nice different mix of what the different treats are. One of these little tackle caddy boxes, and you're just going to basically fill each one of the little sections. Go ahead and close it all up with all the treats inside, and then customize the front. Now Dollar Tree has tons of vinyl to work with, and you don't have to have a cutting machine. You can simply just take the vinyl home, cut out a piece that you need, and if you want, you can trace on an image with a Sharpie marker and cut that out. It basically turns into a giant sticker, so don't be afraid of the vinyl section in the Dollar Tree. I actually do have a vinyl cutting machine, but I wanted to show you all how incredibly easy this is, how I just pull back the paper on the inside of it and then rub it down. Once I added on that apple, and this right here is actually an iron-on vinyl, and I ended up just simply putting some adhesive on the back of it for the green glitter. And now the Dollar Tree also has some rub-ons, so I'm going to customize a label on it and rub that down with a popsicle stick, and ending up with the cutest gift ever. This project is super simple. We're going to take this tray outside and we're going to spray paint it white. We're also going to be using some of these pumpkins, and I'll show you what to do with those in just a second. Once the paint is dry on your tray, go ahead and dry brush on some distressing as much as you would like, or not at all. Distressing is not your thing. That's the thing I love about projects, is that we can take an idea and then jump forward with it however we want in our own craft rooms. So I hope that this inspires you to just have fun with it and make it your own. Now I wanted a little bit more texture, so I'm going to sand those raised bumps at the edge of the tray. And now we're going to take one of our kitchen steak knives and we're going to cut down the pumpkins. half or 3/4 of a way, and then we're going to start kind of positioning them. So now that they're flat, it's going to allow us to make it look like a patch full of pumpkins. This part is so fun. You're going to be able to customize it however you want. Once you have the positioning and the different sizes that you want, you're going to go ahead and start gluing them down into place. Now I'm going to play with mine a little bit more. That initial pumpkin, I decided to cut it down so it's a little bit shorter than the white Cinderella pumpkin because I wanted them to kind of come down at an angle. This is why I said this part is so fun, because you can customize it to however you want. Then you're going to add a whole bunch of hot glue so it stays on there nicely. Glue those down into place, and then once you've got all of that glued into place, locked in, you're going to create the bed that the pumpkins are all sitting in your little patch. Add some more hot glue and come in with some Spanish moss coming around the bottom to conceal where you made all of those different cuts. And you can see here that I added in a whole bunch of stems into the pumpkins. Once all of that is done and glued down, we're going to go ahead and take one of these wood cutout from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to do the thankful one, and you're going to see initially I painted it brown, but when we finish it's actually black. I felt like it needed more of a contrast farmhouse vibe to it. So I went ahead and glued that down, and now I'm going to come in with some of this bead garland, and I'm just going to coil it, glue those into place, and then at this point I decided it needed one more small pumpkin and a contrasting color, so I came in with an oranger pumpkin that's tiny, and then like I said earlier, I went back and painted it black so it had more of a farmhouse look to it, and it had that contrast where it stands out even more. So I'm just tapping that paint on gently, and in the end you have such a beautiful sign to display in your home. For this project, there is a fall freebie. I had so much fun designing this for all of you. It's linked down below in my description box, which will take you to my website where you can grab it for free and download it for your very own use. Now, I wanted to give a unique look to this. I thought it would be so fun to make one of those sidewalk signs like you would see at a pumpkin patch when they're telling you how much things cost when you're first walking in. So I'm going to take 2 of these art flat board canvases, and I'm going to just simply take some of this gingham fabric and I'm going to wrap it around, tuck in the corners, and just pull it really tight so it's nice and smooth on the front sides of these boards. This project is so easy with this printable, and it's just such a fun thing to try, and you could do this for some fall decor. And the idea itself, I mean, how cute would this be to do for a wedding reception, welcoming people in for a birthday party? The idea of making one of these boards is so easy. So you can get whatever you want and wrap the boards with whatever you want fabric, and then put your sign on. And I'm going to use some of these popsicle sticks just to frame out the artwork. And then on the back side, this is how you get it to stand up. You're going to take some ribbon. I think this ribbon is about 3 inches long. And I'm going to just fold it in half and find the center point and glue it. Bring it over to the other side and make sure that everything's lining up nice and straight. And then close it so that the fabric sides are facing out. And then I'm going to put on the ribbons on the side. This is going to allow it to catch and hold up without it sliding flat on the ground. And then I'm just going to add some buttons because why not? I love buttons. I think buttons are so cute. And then I'm going to add some on the front. I'm going to get asked about this tray, this Lazy Susan tray for my jars. I picked it up from Target Dollar Spot, and I also got the jars there too, and it fits perfect for all my buttons. And then I'm going to just add on that last button, and it's ready to be displayed for the fall. When I saw this large sign at the thrift store, I got so excited because I knew exactly the stencil I wanted to use on it. Now I got this thing for 50 cents, which is already crazy because it's such a huge piece to work with. So I took it outside and I spray painted it a beautiful green color for the fall season. And because it's green, I can use it for the Christmas season and even in spring. I love the green idea on this sign. Now this stencil is from Studio R12. I've been eyeing it and I thought it would be so cool if I could ever find a piece of wood large enough to do a massive clock that I can hang wreaths on and put that up on a wall somewhere in my home. I thought it would be so beautiful. Just wait to the finished look. It's going to be so stunning when it's done. So I wanted to put down 2 coats of paint. I lifted it up gently, did some heat with my heat gun, and then I went back in with a second time doing the stencil. Now this is the cool thing about this particular large stencil is that there's 2 parts of it. Then you just go ahead and line up the other for the bottom part of the clock, and then you continue on your stenciling journey. Once you're done steepling on all your paint and it looks beautiful, go ahead and get a hook. Figure out the size of wreath that would fit onto your form. I believe mine is a 12-inch wreath. I think that's what it is. It might actually be 10. I could be wrong on that. But just know whatever size you're going to get for your wood round and this clock stencil, figure out the wreath from there. Add a hook, and at this point, it's ready to be displayed in your home. Our next DIY is going to be using this galvanized bucket and these florals that the Dollar Tree has out right now. They are meant for the fall time, but I thought they lend well for summer as well. So I thought they would be so cute paired up together. We're going to take off the handle from this bucket. Now beware, this handle can be a little bit of a beast because the wire is really strong. I like to hold on to those wires because I can use them for other projects. But I'm going to go ahead and remove it. You can decide to leave the handle on if you want to, but I personally wanted to remove it. So here I am. I'm going to take this brown paint and I am going to just simply tap it up all along the edge because we're going to give this bucket a really pretty rusted look. I thought this was so cute for summer decor that lends well going into the fall time. Once you've tapped around your brown paint in all the desired areas that you like, you're then going to take a piece of foam square from the Dollar Tree and you're just going to hot glue that down in there, and then you can add in your florals. Now I'm cutting them away from their stem, the original stem that they come on. I never like putting them in like that because they look so fake, but when you cut them away with some wire cutters and place them down in there individually as sprigs, it looks so much more realistic and it looks high-end doing it this way. So I'm going to just fill in as many as I would like, and then I'm going to take one of these little garden sticks. I pick up a whole bunch of these little signs during the springtime and I just hold on to them all throughout the year because I love how they look when you put them on buckets or signs or just things. It's a cute little finishing touch. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video today. Leave a comment down below to let me know which one you like, which one you think you will try, and please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you are new here to my channel and haven't clicked it yet. Also, I'm going to recommend this video right here at the end. Go ahead and check that one out. If you enjoyed this one, you'll definitely enjoy this video as well. And until the next episode, bye friends.